Hey guys, this is a video explaining how I string my mesh. It's more tips now. I'm watching a lot of videos on YouTube about people stringing, and I came upon this one video about with Weston from Colorado. Check him out. He's a great custom stringer. He's the owner of the King Cobra Pocket. Thing's completely sick. I seen him string mesh, and I hold him up to really high standards. I mean, that dude is genius. But when it comes to mesh, it's a little bit basic. Now, honestly, I think he can completely string a nice pocket, but towards mesh, he really needs to work on his technique. Now, it's not so much as criticism that I'm giving you, Weston, but more just advice, what I've seen. Now, I look up a lot of things on YouTube, a lot of things on the internet towards stringing. I combine a lot of stringing things, and I created my perfect pocket, my perfect stringing style. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is mesh. Now, it's really important to completely stretch the mesh before you string, because a lot of people, when they string it, they string complete flat pockets and then expect to pound the pocket later, breaking the pocket later. No. When you string, that's your end result. Now the pocket might increase a little bit, but that's just when you tighten up the back wall. Now, when you get your mesh, it's kind of important to me. Like, this is my preference. I like to soften it, but stretching it softens it anyways. And playing with that just a little bit softer mesh, but not soft mesh, but softer mesh, like soft and hard mesh, it's actually better because it adds more hold, doesn't reduce your shot speed, and if you string it correctly, it shouldn't whip. Now, if you string a soft mesh or softer mesh, well, I call it softer mesh, just hard mesh, softened, then you string a lot of whip, you're just not stringing it well. You need to really do your research. Now, when I say by softening mesh, is core stretching. What you do is when you get your mesh, stretch it out just a little bit to the point where you can't stretch out anymore. Put it in hot water, roll it up, stretch it all the way across, and then stretch it that way. Like when I mean roll it up, stretch it in all directions, and then take conditioner, rub it throughout it, fold each ends that way, and crumble up in a ball, throw it in the hot water, just kind of soften up in there for about a good minute, and take it out. Now, I like to string it right away, but if you like the mesh just to harden up just a little bit more, wait a couple hours. If you want to completely harden up back up, wait a day. Now, I always prefer and I always recommend people to use softer mesh. But one thing that I always see people do when they string sidewalls, it's not so much incorrect, but there's a better method. People string their sidewalls going, so you have your string right here, into the hole, back through the loop and pulling down. And then what they do is they string between the holes. Like they have their knot, then they put it through the hole and string to the plastic, then put it through a hole, then string to the plastic, then put it through a hole. What I like to do is I like to string it, put it in the plastic, come behind a mesh hole, take it, pull it down. What that does is it gets really much more tighter, and it tightens up the sidewalls to the plastic. And it likes to mesh purposely stretch, so when you're so as the ball's in there, it's only reaching mesh, and your depth from your pockets, not from the sidewalls. Now, one thing that I realized, Weston, that you don't do too well is really tightening the top of it. Like when I say top, right here. Now, your pockets are looking kind of like that. That's really kind of baggish, and you're not getting a definite pocket. Now, when I string, you see the pocket is exactly the size of the ball. And you always got to string around the pocket. So what you need to do is you need to tighten up your interlocks up top. I know you know how to interlock. You do a good job at it. But interlock, skipping more than just one hole. You can see right here, I've skipped 3 holes. That's normally where someone would string another hole. Skip a whole entire universal, which is pretty much that one, right to here. Now, as you string your sidewalls, take your finger in there and pull down the mesh to where pretty much the knot is kind of in the middle of the mesh. What that does is it really tightens up that channel, but also keeps the pocket from bagging out top. And it's, in my opinion, the perfect pocket's a little bit mid, but a little bit higher, but not too high. And so when you do that, you can interlock again. Then what I like to do is I like this little switch knot thing. I don't really know what to call it, but that completes my interlock. So what I do is I go through the plastic like I was doing any other regular knot, and then come back to the back of the mesh and pull down completely. What that does is it really tightens up here, and then prepares the bag. Now I know bagging is a horrible thing to do, but when you have a nice tightness up here, and then bag it out, and then finish off right there, that has a really nice area for the ball to sit. Now, what I have right here is start, no hole, hole, hole. Those two are my interlocks. Then I double, but if you don't have enough stringing holes, like Super has a lot of stringing holes, just triple up. And so you don't want to double up in more than one place. It's better just to triple up in one place than double up in two places, because that doesn't stretch out the pocket too much. It just keeps the pocket in one place. Then just keep on going down, keep on using all of these until you reach the end. Now always make sure you have 10 holes all the way across. And when it comes to the back wall, just pull it down as tight as you can. Say this ends off in a 10. You want to end up in the next diamond down on a 9 all the way across. And that's really all the advice I can give. Sorry, this is kind of a sloppy tutorial. It's late at night. I'm really tired. But just a couple things to think about, Weston. Mesh prep, completely try to check your mesh. Change the way you do your sidewall. How you string the sidewalls. Remember to go to the back of the mesh and pull down. And tighten up your channel. Get better interlocks. And finish off your back wall a little bit better. Now, just for a little glance on the sidewalls, as you see, it's not strung between, but you can see the string going in and in the back of the mesh. Good vision right there. You see that too. What this does, it just keeps the pocket in one place, really tight up here, bags out right here, finish off real nice in here. The ball sits in one place. I like using 2 V's in a straight. I recommend that for any off-fender. It doesn't whip at all. A lot of people will look at this and think it whips. It really doesn't. Not at all. And what happens is, one last thing, if you come out and the channel's too tight, just pound it out. Whether you have a pocket pounder or a ball and a screwdriver, anything works. Alright, well, hopefully this is a pretty informative tutorial for you, Weston, and any other person who's viewing this. Alright, take care.